The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios.
Hi, this is Mia Mosinzia, also known as Mia No Time for Love. Check out my latest book, Missing, available on Amazon.
The Mike Wagner Show, also brought to you by The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, available on Amazon, highlighting the Book of David.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios, brought to you by our official sponsor, the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Mosinzia Missing, available on Amazon, paperback and ebook, coming soon, Missing 2, double the suspense, double the fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of King David, including 30 exquisite pings, King David's Psalms, his time as the shepherd and more, Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner, and check out the Mike Wagner Show, MikeWagnerShow.com, 40 podcast platforms in over 100 countries. Check it out today. We're here with the amazing award-winning and critically acclaimed author of two medieval fantasy thrillers, winning numerous awards. And his career spans over 25 plus years of government service in numerous positions, superintendent of parks, director of parks recreation, interim city manager, assistant city manager of Sunnyvale, California, graduated from University of Virginia's Senior Executive Institute, Cal State University, UMass, and his first book opens with Organized Crime Syndicate, which is the Guild of Takers, where of the feudal efforts to corrupt the virtuous kings and everything. And the second book, which is about a king of Aeronax declaring war on the Guild of Takers, and it's part of the Legends of Baelon series. And we'll be talking about the one book, 6 Moons, 7 Gods, and 2 Crowns, 3 Blades. Keep up with the numbers. It's going to be an interesting ride. Live, ladies and gentlemen, Plus Studios, somewhere in beautiful Carmel, California, the amazing war-winning, critically acclaimed author of 2 medieval fantasy thrillers, 6 Moons, 7 Gods, 2 Crowns, 3 Blades, one author, the amazing Robert Walker. Robert, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Good morning, Mike. What a great introduction. Thanks.
I was trying to keep up with the math here. I almost got lost in it too. So, well, everybody's going to have to repeat this. Time we get done here. You're award-winning, critically acclaimed author of 2 medieval fantasy thrillers, winning numerous awards. Your career spans over 25 years in government service, and you also graduated from University of Virginia's Senior Executive Institute. Also attended Cal State University, UMass. And your first book opens up with an organized crime syndicate, the Guild of Takers. And the second book about the King Axel of Aeronax declaring war on the guild as well. It's part of the Legends of Baelon series, and its first book is called 6 Moons, 7 Gods, and 2 Crowns, 3 Blades. The second book. Before getting all that, Robert, tell us how it first got started.
Oh man, I've been writing since I was a little kid. My dad was a professional editor, so I know that's essentially it's in my blood, right? But it's only since I retired that I've had sufficient time to write creatively for pleasure. And so that's when the novels were born, was out following retirement.
Okay. All right. And what was that one precise moment that simply influenced you into what you do in the rest of your career? Besides retirement, of course, and your dad.
I think my dad has such a large bit of that, but in terms of the books themselves, I've been saying for a long time, I'm not sure exactly why fantasy. I get asked that all the time. Why fantasy? Why now? And honestly, when I decided it's time to sort of make real that lifelong ambition of writing a novel, that's what flowed out. Fantasy with tinges of grimdark, romance, mystery. But in retrospect, I think when I was a kid, the first books that I read were all of Zane Grey's novels. He was a big Western writer. And then Ian Fleming and the James Bond series. And neither of those guys wrote fantasy, but they were both loved to thrill their audiences, right? And then I got hooked on J.R.R. Tolkien and the Lord of the Rings. My dad read that to us when we were kids.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then following that, the Dune series by Frank Herbert. Those two guys introduced me to fantasy, and I've been hooked ever since. More recently, Scott Lynch and the Gentleman Bastard series. So I think really all of that is in there somewhere.
And your dad has been a fantasy fanatic as well, too. What are some of his favorite books and authors growing up?
Yeah, I think he was so hooked on the J.R.R. Tolkien series. That's why he read it to us. I don't remember him being a huge fantasy freak, really, but for whatever reason, those books enthralled him. And boy, we were just enraptured sitting there. I have two sisters, and the three of us sat and just listened to those books. And yeah, that was something.
What was your favorite memory of the J.R.R. Tolkien series, and what was your favorite memory, and what stood out for you?
I, you know, I think the fact that it was such an adventure and things got so dark along the way, at least as a child, things got so dark, but there was always this hope, right? There was always this striving. But those towers, the darkness of all of that really got me. I mean, it's just, you're just hoping this guy and this kid really. So we're kids and he's a kid and you're just hoping he survives the whole affair.
It made me think of the movie as well, too, and of course, the Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit, and everything like that. And and of course, I don't know if you've seen the movie or anything. How do you think the movie resembles, closely to a book? Was it a little skewed and everything like that, or how close was it to a book? The movie.
I think they did a tremendous job actually with the Lord of the Rings series. Personally, I thought it was really well done. As compared to, for example, the Dune series, I'd read the book. If I was telling people, I'd say read the book. You can pass on the movies. They really, I mean, they're not bad movies, but they don't really do justice to the books. But I thought the Lord of the Rings series really did a pretty darn good job. Yeah.
I think it sounded like it when I heard about that Dune movie. I thought about it and was stinging it, but I thought it was good. But then that movie really got panned really badly.
Yeah. I mean, they were okay. They're not bad movies to watch, but it's nothing like the book. I mean, the book really draws you in, and I thought the books were fantastic. The movies are just a decent watch.
And of course, speaking of decent watch, Ian Fleming tends to stand out the most with the James Bond series as well, too. And I don't know if you've read any James Bond and how close were the movies of James Bond, relate to the books, if you've read them.
Boy, I did read them. I read them all when I was in my early teen years. And so it's hard for me to think back and nuance the books enough to say, oh, the movies really did justice. But I think they were probably pretty darn close. And the movies I thought most of them were good. I liked the more recent Bond with Daniel Craig. I thought he was great. And I think our old hero, Sean Connery, was the ultimate Bond. Those were great too. But the Roger Moore and some of the others not so great.
Well, Roger Moore is a little folksy, but don't forget George Lazenby. He was like a comedian in that one. So.
Yeah, I think they just got a little schlocky there.
Well, it's good to be a little schlocky as well. And besides Zane Grey, Ian Fleming, J.R. Tolkien, and Frank Shaw as well too. Who are some other favorite writers and favorite books growing up?
Well, as I say, Scott Lynch, I really enjoy his series, the Gentleman Bastard series. Waiting for the last one, by the way. If you're out there, Scott, please finish that series. My son and I are waiting. But I also, it's not just fantasy. I like David Baldacci. I'm a big fan of David Baldacci. I've read most of his work. They really draw me in.
And certainly did as well too. And you've got some books that about to join the ranks of Zane Grey Ian Fleming, J.R. Tolkien, and more. You've got the series from Legends of Baelon. I'll get to 2 books in just 1 minute with Robert Walker. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today, 1-800-303-3960. It's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 20% off your first project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, time to give a official shout out to our official sponsor of the Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson-Zia. If you love fast-paced mysteries, you'll love Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon, paperback, and ebook. Missing is fast-paced and intriguing with an unforgettable twist. It takes place in 4 countries, 2 strangers, 1 target, where truth is illusion and those who love you to first go missing. It's available on Amazon, paperback, and ebook. Missing by Mia Molson-Zia has got great reviews. And Evil of endorsed by Howard celebrities, including Joanna Cassie, Forrest Riley, and many others. So grab your copy today. Before it goes Missing by Mia Molson-Zia, available on Amazon. Coming soon, Missing 2 by Mia Molson-Zia, double the suspense, double the fun. Check it out on Amazon. Also brought to you by A Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, including 30 quiz of pains and King David's Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives a new perspective of the Psalms David wrote. His time as a shepherd growing up and complicate a turbulent relationship with King Saul. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, hope, and more. Check out The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner on Amazon. Keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. Also check out the Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com. 40 podcast platforms, heard in 100 countries. Take us with you on any mobile device. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, and more. And also check us out on Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, your favorite podcast platform. And for t-shirts, pop sockets, throw pillows, tote bags, hoodies, Amazon.com. Keywords The Mike Wagner Show. Check it out 24/7, 365. Buy for your loved ones. And for more great gift ideas, Amazon.com/Mia Molson-Zia. Great books, merchandise, and support the Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM, PayPal, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. We're here with amazing war-winning, critically acclaimed author of 2 medieval fantasy thrillers, Robert Walker, here on the Mike Wagner Show. It's part of the Legends of Baelon series, and got the first book, 6 Moons, 7 Gods, and the second one is 2 Crows and 3 Blades. And let's talk about Under One, the Legend of Baelon, which is an idyllic world ruled by 2 benevolent kings. And tell us how you got the whole thing started.
Oh, geez. That's really hard, because where did that seed start? It's really hard, Mike. I knew I wanted to write fantasy. I knew I wanted to create this different world. I knew there were going to be heroes and villains. This is really a story of good versus evil. So you've got to have heroes and villains. And I guess it all started with the epilogue or the prologue, where this tragedy happens with the royal family. And there's some mystery about what's going on there, but we're in the depths of what we call the Guild of Takers High Order and the mysterious Magister, and all of these characters that have to do with the evil Guild of Takers begin to take shape. So I think the characters began to just sort of form themselves as I sort of plot the story.
Mm-hmm. And how'd you come up with the Guild of Takers concept?
That all started with a single taker. What I called a taker. I want a different word for a thief, so I called them takers. And this guy was a pickpocket, but then he becomes I'm thinking, no, he's not just a pickpocket. He was one of the best pickpockets, and he became this overseer in this league. And so he had to belong to an organization, and the organization began to take shape, and the organization had a hierarchy. After the overseers came these rulers, and the rulers report to the supreme leader, the Magister, and they're all tucked away in the lawless lands inside this huge complex with the dark towers, and just a evil, dark, dreary dungeon, all these D words, dreary place.
Mm-hmm. Certainly indeed as well too, and of course it's ruled by 2 benevolent kings, and of course where of its feudal efforts, so basically it's an effort to simply just corrupt the kings as well. So it's like they got a task to do, but kings seem to come out of it in a sense.
Yeah, well, they would like to corrupt the kings, but these guys are too virtuous, right? So the whole book is premised on the Guild of Takers saying, all right, what are we going to do? If we want to increase our control over the world of Baelon, we can't deal with these 2 guys. We're going to have to get rid of them. Let's get rid of them and put something else in place. So they plot to kill the two kings, and that's when all hell breaks loose.
And of course, it seems like it happens in most countries. They try to overthrow the king and create their own their own democracy or self-governance as well too. That do you think that's becoming more common these days with countries around? Is it going to be a more common acceptable practice these days?
Gosh, I don't know about more common, Mike. It seems like war and the desire to overthrow governments has been with us since day one, and it doesn't look like it's going away. That's for sure. It's still here. It's quite prevalent. Uh, it makes for good, plot building and story building, unfortunately, but I don't know that that's going away anytime soon. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And of course, basically that, medieval stories remain relevant in today's global conflict as well, too. But there's also some gray areas, fiction and reality as well, too, that, it's kind of like, how do you distinguish these days?
Well, that's the beauty of fantasy, right? It's kind of similar to science fiction. You're not bound to this world. You're not tied to anything real. So, I did some research into medieval times, but this is really not about Earth and medieval times. This is a place of its own. It's a fantasy world. So I get to create whatever I want. And the first thing I did, based on the feedback from a developmental editor, was create a world building Bible. You put the story aside and you begin to just create this world from fauna to flora, government, religion. You build this world. And then when you have that, the foundation on which to build, you start the story, and it's all based on that fantasy place.
Talk about some of the main characters in your first book as well, too. 6 moons, 7 gods. Besides the Guild of Takers, 2 benevolent kings. Tell us about some of the characters involved and what are their roles.
We have Rolf Ahrens. He's a retired royal guard sworn to protect the royal family. And unfortunately, on his watch, a couple of the royal family die. And he is guilt-ridden from day one in the book. But he has this sense that he knows why these people have died, and he's out to avenge them. So that's his main story arc. He crosses paths eventually with a young woman by the name of Sybil Dunn. She's our young heroine, and she's soul searching. She's lost most of the people in her life, her father, her friends, and she's struggling to just make sense of the world. Her mother is sort of lost to her because her mother is this prescient woman who foresees the killing of one of the kings, and she goes off on her own path. But the young heroines think she's lost her mind. But eventually she crosses path with the retired royal guard. The story arcs come together and they find they have a common bond.
And how about some of the other characters, subplots, and everything? Because, you got subplots, you see with the Lord of the Rings, you have the battle going on. You got, what was it? Precious, trying to go after the ring and everything. And of course, you got the hobbits on their journey. It's like, oh, I got to have my late breakfast. And maybe some of the other subplots you like to bring them into and maybe somehow tie those in.
Yeah, well, there is a romantic subplot, which I didn't even see coming. The characters sort of brought that on by themselves. But Sybil Dunn also has a couple of young male friends, young knights in training, squires, and she is secretly in love with one of them who also has an unprofessed love for her. So that romantic subplot kind of boils along. You've got the Magister, who is the evil supreme leader, who not only is he trying to kill these two kings, but he has these little machinations of his own, these little dark webs he's weaving, unbeknownst even to his own rulers. So there's that boiling along. And then you have the king and his cagey marshal, always a thinker, that one. And once they figure out that somebody's trying to kill the kings, they're all about trying to find out who and why and what's going on.
And how about maybe some of the plots as well, too? Like, maybe some from the book. It's like, a couple of excerpts and everything like that, little plots, little stories here and there about, trying to kill, everything like that. Maybe a bit about some of the, little plots and all that stuff. I mean, not give away the whole book, of course, but just a tinge of it, maybe examples of, plots and everything. So.
Yeah, sure. One of the other main characters is Reynard Rascal. He's an overseer. He works for the guild, but he likes to keep them at bay. He really doesn't like them looking over his shoulder, so he gives them more money each month than he's supposed to, just to say, don't be looking over my shoulder. But when he finds out somebody's got their hand in his till, he goes off looking for who is this employee that's robbing from me. You rob from the guild, you rob from all of us. And so he's fit to be tied, and he runs off with his sidekick, Spiro, who's really along for the ride to do nothing but assassinate people on behalf of Reynard.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They go looking for this person, and that story arc begins to meld into the others as well.
And of course, you talk about some of the characters mentioned too, heroes, villains alike, and reflecting complexities of the human nature as well too, today's society. And you're looking at today's news and even governments as well.
Yeah, people are complicated, Mike. I've always been fascinated by just studying people. And I try to have that come out in the book, right? I mean, heroes and villains, they're not all just paper cutouts in the book. They're complicated characters. Not all of the villains are rotten to the core. They're real people. In fact, I have readers who write me and say, I really like this guy. I know I'm not supposed to, but I really like him. And I get that because he has some really admirable traits. And not all of the people that work for the king are virtuous either. Sybil Dunn finds that out fairly early in the book.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And of course, tied to government and everything like that, you've been yourself and, a bit more about it. And we'll talk about the second book, Two Crowns, Three Braids with Robert Walker. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios, brought to you by official sponsor of The Mike Wagner Show, international warring author Mia Molson's You're Missing, The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, based on the life of David, Amazon.com, keyword Sweet Psalmist Serena Wagner. We'll be back with the multi-talent Robert Walker of Two Crowns, Three Blades, Six Moons, Seven Gods, part of Legend of Baelon series. After this time up.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention The Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey there, Dana Alexa here, American News anchor. Hey, let me ask you something real quick. Why do you read a book? You're buying a story, a thought, a message. And a good book entertains and inspires. And that's exactly what Missing by award-winning author Mian Zia does. I have his book right here. And it's based on real events with relatable characters that hook you from start to finish. I personally love this book. It's super powerful and meaningful. You can actually get it on Amazon right now.
The Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Serena Wagner's book, The Sweet Psalmist, now available on Amazon. This book includes 30 exquisite paintings by well-known and unknown painters and King David Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives us a new perspective on his life in this book through the Psalms he wrote. His time as a shepherd in the field is where the book starts, and it goes on to describe his complicated and turbulent relationship with King Saul as well as other events. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, and more. It also offers advice on approaching God and living a life that pleases him. Check out the book, The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, now available on Amazon. Keywords, Sweet Psalmist, Serena Wagner.
Hey, this is Ray Powers, and boy, are you in luck. Right place, right time. Tuned in to The Mike Wagner Show. You heard me.
We're back with author Robert Walker here on The Mike Wagner Show with Six Moons, Seven Gods from the first book of the Legends of Baelon series. Before we talk about Two Crowns, Three Blades in the second book, you've worked in public service, government service for 25 years. You've been in a number of positions: superintendent of parks, division of parks and recreation, and intern city manager, assistant city manager in Sunnyvale, California. And, about your role in government and, talk about that and how does that, lead your way into writing and everything.
Yeah, it does play a part. I think being in local government and the positions that I were in certainly allowed me a lot of opportunity to observe people and how they react, not just in government situations, but in small work groups, in large work groups. And as I say, people are complicated. It's fascinating to watch people and in particular try to understand what motivates them. So in the books, I try to make my characters real. That sort of works its way into the book for sure. I'm trying to make people be real, be interesting, and determine what is it that drives them. But there's also in government, I'm sure you can imagine, there's a lot of intrigue and suspense, even in local government. There's quite a bit of drama going on. So it's not like go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, it's not like I sit down and think about that in particular while I'm writing. I don't try to translate my work experiences into the book, but there are certainly some things that occur during work that I can, in retrospect, think back and say, okay, some of this is rooted in that.
Okay. I was just going to ask you that question, but I think you answered already. Was it based on some of the people, some of the incidents that happened at your work, or is it just like that? What could be and learn from it? I was just going to ask you about that, but maybe just a bit more if you wanted to. And was it mainly based, some based, or was it like outside work as well that influenced characters, storylines, plots, and writing and everything like that?
I think it's really an accumulation of my entire life, really. Work was a big part of that. But again, there's nothing specific. It's not like the supreme magister, this evil guy, is someone that was at work. I wouldn't want people to say, okay, now who was that? Who was that nasty guy? But I will say, I saw the dark side at work, certainly. And I saw the good side too. King Axel, who's a really benevolent king in the book. I do draw some things. Some of my bosses, the city managers that I worked with, were really, really professional and virtuous. And so, does some of that play into the book? Sure. Yeah.
I forgot to mention about King Axel as well too. He's basically trying to control the kingdom, trying to rule with benevolence, and also at the same time trying to get rid of the Guild of Takers as well. And he's got some issues as well too, and it's a score to settle and everything else. So I mean he's benevolent, but he's got some issues to settle.
He does. He does. And I don't want to give too much away, but by the second book, he understands a lot more about the Guild of Takers and what's driving them. So, and that's when he declares war. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And of course, he's the king of Aranox as well, too. Or is it Arachnox? How do you pronounce that?
No, you got it. Aranox. That's correct.
Aranox. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And how'd you come up with that name, Aranox, as well?
Yeah. I knew there were going to be two kings that ruled Baelon. And when I was doing the world building, I decided, well, why two kings? Well, two kings because when the world was first birthed, there was but one king. When he died, he didn't know who would be his heir. He had two sons. So he divided the world into two and gave one to each son. And over time, those folks passed on and passed on and passed on, but they kept the names such that the two worlds are Aranox and Tagon. And so every king has up till now named their son with an A for Aranox. So it's King Axel of Aranox and King Tiger of Tagon.
Got it. Okay. Now with the two kings, being raised under the same father and having those two separate worlds, was there any conflict or jealousy or everything like that? Or was it just, hey, we're brothers, we get along great?
Well, time will tell, but I think in the current time period, these two kings are mutual friends, were childhood friends. The bloodline has long since disappeared since they were, the father gave to the two sons. So these are just really good friends, but they respect each other. But they had a common love, and only one of them married this gal. So there's some residual there. And the kings have not seen each other now in a couple of decades.
Okay. And plus, King Axel can only handle so much, and grieving the loss of his wife and daughter, and finally declaring war. And what do you think that one point that just led him to simply said, game on?
Well, again, I don't want to give too much away, but it absolutely becomes game on. And the Guild of Takers, in book one, there's a lot of death, Mike, and a lot of murder and all of this, but it's largely done in dark alleyways and behind closed doors. It's all very clandestine, right? This guild of takers and what's going on. But by book two, once King Axel figures out what's going on, the gloves come off and yeah, there's still a lot of death, but now it's full scale war because he's decided, no, enough is enough. We're going to cut the head off this snake.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's also a bit more as well too. And do you see anything coming up? Maybe like a book 3 or anything like that? Maybe a trilogy or maybe a 4-book series, 5-book series, or anything?
Yeah, book two leaves a couple of loose ends. It's kind of funny. I mean, some of the reviews have said, "Hey, this ends in a really nice way. It's a good conclusion." But in reality, there are some loose ends left, and I think most readers observe that. And plot for book 3 is already underway.
Okay, and I forgot to ask you this question as well. What's the inspiration titling the book Six Moons, Seven Gods, and the second one, Two Crowns, Three Braids? I'm trying to keep up with the math here. So.
Well, so am I. I tell you why. Six Moons, Seven Gods came to me out of the blue. Both of those terms, the 6 moons, came out of the book because they have a 12-moon period, just like we have a 12-month period, full moon, right? So it's 12 moons. 6 moons is one of their celebrations. They celebrate the halfway through the year. So 6 moons is celebration.
Good point. Mm-hmm.
And 7 gods, when I was developing the World Bible, that's their religion. They pray to 7 gods, not one. So the term 6 moons, 7 gods, it was derived from a couple of features of the book. And I just thought, that's a catchy name. I like it. It's memorable. I like it. 6 moons, 7 gods. Two crowns, 3 blades. I had a real challenge with the next title because I wasn't sure if I wanted to brand the book by keeping that numerical theme or just go off with something entirely different. And I couldn't decide. So I had a list of about a dozen titles and I sent them out to my newsletter of, fans and readers, and they helped me decide. And that's when we settled on Two Crowns, Three Blades. The challenge now, I've kind of committed to this branding. And what is book 3 going to be titled? I'm running out of single digits, right? So it's a big question mark.
How about One World, Two Happy Endings? How's that?
I like it. I'll put that on the list.
Sounds good. Okay. And one more thing. Who are the 7 gods? Now you got me hooked on
it. Yeah. So there's the god of fortune. There's the god of health. There's the god of change, because what happened, and the god of children. Kids that are 13 and below, there's only one god watches over them. That's the god of children. Every child is watched over by this one god. But once you become 13 years old, there are these 5 other gods, and we're only up to 6 now, but there are 5 other gods that watch over you. Maybe, because depending on how you've been as a child, each god decides, yeah, I'll watch over that one, or no, I won't. So maybe the god of health watches over you. Maybe the god of fortune watches over you. But maybe they don't. The 7th god is the god of change, because every year you can go to the house of all gods if you want and ask for change. I don't like the fact that the god of health's not looking out for me. Can I please change that? Will you go to the house of all gods and you ask for that change? And maybe they accept you, maybe they don't. But the whole idea is to be watched over by as many gods as you can. There are the 5 gods, then the god of change and the god of children.
That is rather interesting. So just watch what you do, guys. So, but anyway, where can we find your book at and all your works at, Robert?
The books can be found on Amazon. Both books are on Amazon. You can get them online, Kmart, Walmart, Target, all of the normal places, but primarily Amazon. And you can hook up with me at my author website, rawalkerwriting.com. I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn. And I think that's about it for social media for me.
And what's your website again?
rawalkerwriting.com.
rawalkerwriting.com. gmail.com. We want everybody to go to that website right now. We're here, amazing multi-talented Robert Walker of 6 Moons, 7 Gods, 2 Grounds, 3 Blades, Legend of Baelon series here on the Mike Wagner Show. Robert, just a few more things here. What else can we expect in 2025 and beyond, besides the possible 3rd book?
Well, the Audible books just released. So if you're like to listen rather than read, they're available on Audible. The first 2 books now. Hopefully the 3rd will come. I think, I'm not looking beyond that 3rd book in the series right now. I think I owe the readers that. I've been duped into reading trilogies that never get to that 3rd book, or series where the 5th book leaves you hanging. So I really do want to finish the series. That's where my focus is right now.
And we're certainly looking forward to it as well, Robert. And who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Oh, that's my dad for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And what's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
My advice to people is to, especially if you're just starting out writing, is to not look too hard behind the curtain of marketing and publishing and all of that too soon. It'll hit you in the gut. It's a daunting thing. And so I say, just focus on your writing, love what you do, and just keep at it. Persevere. Perseverance is huge.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really good point. And I'm sure the 7 Gods are watching as well. So keep going as well. Here at the multi-talented Robert Walker of 6 Moons, 7 Gods, 2 Crowns, 3 Blades, Legend of Baelon series here on the Mike Wagner Show. Robert, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Learned a lot. Looking forward to him soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. And what's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or check out your books?
Again, rawalkerwriting.com, and you can find me on Amazon. That's probably the best place to go.
We'll certainly check that out. Once again, Robert, very big thank you for your time. You've been absolutely fantastic. Looking forward to having you soon. Keep us up to date. Keep in touch. Love to have you back. We wish you all the best. And Robert, you definitely have a great future ahead of you.
Thank you, Mike. You take care.
The Mike Wagner Show is powered by Sonic Web Studios. If you're looking to start or upgrade your online presence, visit www.sonicwebstudios.com for all of your online needs. Call 1-800-303-3960 or visit us online at www.sonicwebstudios.com to get started today. Mention the Mike Wagner Show and get 20% off your project. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level.
Hey there, Dana Alexa here, American news anchor. Hey, let me ask you something real quick. Why do you read a book? You're buying a story, a thought, a message, and a good book entertains and inspires, and that's exactly what Missing by award-winning author Mian Zia does. I have his book right here, and it's based on real events with relatable characters that hook you from start to finish. I personally love this book. It's super powerful and meaningful. You can actually get it on Amazon right now.
The Mike Wagner Show is brought to you by Serena Wagner's book, The Sweet Psalmist, now available on Amazon. This book includes 30 exquisite paintings by well-known and unknown painters and King David Psalms. The Sweet Psalmist gives us a new perspective on his life in this book. Through the Psalms he wrote, his time as a shepherd in the field is where the book starts, and it goes on to describe his complicated and turbulent relationship with King Saul as well as other events. It's a story of love, betrayal, repentance, and more. It also offers advice on approaching God and living a life that pleases him. Check out the book, The Sweet Psalmist by Serena Wagner, now available on Amazon. Keywords, Sweet Psalmist, Serena Wagner.
Thanks for listening to the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.